Senator Ruben Gallego. Senator Gallego, thanks so much for being here today. You, of course, just heard Ratcliffe say there that it seems the buck stops with the Secretary of Defense. You have called on the Secretary, Hegseth, to step down. If he refuses, do you think he should be impeached over this?
Look, I think, first of all, before we jump to that conclusion, we should at least have an open, transparent investigation. What you just heard is CYA politics, cover your ass politics that Ratcliffe is involved in. The fact that the Secretary has determined that this is not classified, therefore it's not classified, doesn't actually end the story here. This is a very dangerous thing that the Secretary of Defense did. He compromised the mission to begin with, potentially compromising our Armed Services Committee and also not disclosing exactly to Congress what was said or what was not said on these chats. Let's at least have an open, transparent investigation. This is what we would do under any Democrat if this had occurred to them. And the fact that Secretary of Defense is not taking leadership, it's a horrible example to all the men and women that are under his leadership right now, that all you have to do is lie, and not take ownership of this as a leader, and that's a horrible example for them.
Yeah. So, Senator, you did vote to confirm the CIA Director Ratcliffe. Do you regret that vote based on what you know now?
Look, a lot of these voters, a lot of these votes that we took with a grain of salt. We understood that we're going to have to do the best of what we had. And a lot of times, some of these votes ended up incorrectly. But I knew exactly what was happening. This is the best of one of the few nominees that we understood we could work with. I hope Director Ratcliffe will live up to some of the standards we expected him when we voted for that. But let's be clear. The reason we're having this discussion is of bad leadership and a bad culture that's been established as Secretary of Defense National Security Team. They're the ones that made the problems. They're the ones that should be held accountable, and they're the ones that are potentially continuing to put our country in danger. We don't know where they were with these phones. We don't know when they were communicating. This is why there needs to be a full and transparent investigation, and if not, at least at a minimum, Secretary of Defense Hegseth should retire because he should resign because he is a bad leader for our men and women in the armed services.
Sir, we heard today from the President of the United States about this story. Let's watch a little bit of what he said, and I'll ask you about it on the other side. Take a look.
It wasn't classified information, so this was not classified. Now, if it's classified information, it's probably a little bit different.
So he's saying there that this was not classified. Do you think that that's plausible on its face?
It's not plausible. It's absolutely lying. He is using, again, CYA words now. Because the president can say what is classified, not classified, but let's just put this to the pure common sense test. If we're about to attack a country, do we want to know? Do you want our opponents to know what the coordinates are? Do you want our opponents to know what weapons that we're going to use? The timing and the nature of that? Of course not. This is pure BS to cover the fact that he is running an incompetent administration, and who knows what else they are covering up in these types of signal chats. This is why Secretary of Defense Hegseth should turn over all information. Everyone that was in the chat should turn over all information. We can do a thorough investigation about how this happened, how far it goes, and whether or not people need to be held accountable.
Senator, your counterpart, your fellow Arizona Senator Mark Kelly, he said today that the Intelligence Committee didn't see the rest of this signal chat. I'm curious how far you think Democrats should go, and in the event that it was deleted, because a lot of these chats automatically delete depending on how they're set up, what kind of a problem that presents?
Well, it presents a problem, number one, that they're doing that. There's a reason why we have these protocols. Protocol number one, when we don't have conversations like this in these types of challenges, because just because they say signal is, encrypted does not necessarily mean that very sophisticated in military intelligence companies as well as countries could be tapping this. So we need to investigate that fully. What else was being said along these chats? There's just a lot of things that we're missing. The reason we asked for operational security is because this may have gone well this time. Maybe they didn't, our opposition did not actually hear about this, but you don't know what the standard operating procedures going forward should be, considering what is the national security team doing. So everything needs to be thoroughly reviewed. Everything needs to be reviewed from when this started to the beginning of when they got together on this chat, everything that was discussed, and going forward how we're going to continue to have operational security, because that's going to put a lot of our other operations at risk, and we don't know how far this vulnerability is at this point.